And the topic of interest, or rather showing it, because whether you show it or not, when it's there, is quite controversial. Honestly, there are many doubts about it, right? One no longer knows how to act. If I don't show interest, it's bad, but if I do show it, it's also bad. So what do I do? What we know for sure up to now is that initially a show of interest. The only thing it can foster in the other person is to generate sympathy. Even if I haven't previously noticed you, or physically you don't initially attract me much or anything, the moment I notice or perceive that you like me, this generates sympathy in me. Or it can even start to generate an attraction that wasn't there before. So we have to understand that initial interest is key. What's happening? There are many ways to show interest. It ranges from a very subtle interest, which simply seeks to, let's say, give you that signal. Women do this a lot. That is, if I look at you a lot, even if I don't come over to talk to you, in some way I'm giving you a signal to come and approach me. If I smile at you, I'm being more obvious. And if I take the initiative, perhaps by sensing that you don't know, you don't see it clearly, or you might be shy, it's just a step further. Usually, initial interest shouldn't be something that worries us, because as I said, there are many studies that support that initially, the only thing it will achieve is that the other person either develops an interest they didn't have, or if they already had interest, they feel more secure or more comfortable taking steps towards us. But this is at the beginning. That is to say, it's an initial interest. Once that initial interest is established, which helps generate more rapport, believing that, oh, if a little interest has generated rapport, then if I show a lot of interest, right? Then I'll make you fall in love. And this approach is what often leads us directly to failure. Why? Because also, one often falls into the trap because at the beginning, it's true that there's a progression, meaning the person takes the interest well, sometimes reciprocates, it seems like they like it, so then I'm going to give more and more because I see that what I'm reaping is good. But suddenly there can be a moment when things completely change and the other person shuts down, both in giving and receiving in some cases, right? And we don't understand what happened, right? That's when we think, of course, I shouldn't have shown interest. Okay, I have to understand that to maintain attraction, I need balance. So, for a relationship between two people to be balanced, the fundamental thought I want to convey to you today, which is key, which is essential, and will help you ensure that what we've discussed doesn't happen to you again, but also you don't fall short, because we can also go too far in not wanting such interest, leading the other person to conclude that we don't want anything or are disinterested, mirroring our behavior, and both of us gradually drifting apart, and things end here, right? That is to say, well, I don't want this person to notice that I like them a lot, so I'll reply to the message the day after tomorrow. And they say to me, wow, well, I'll reply next week. Well, writing to each other once a year, we're not going to reach a relationship. So I have to understand, as I say, the thought, I don't want to deviate from the basic thought, is that the balance for a relationship to be balanced, sometimes the matter has to come from that person, and sometimes it has to come from me. And I'm going to repeat it because it's key. To be able to preserve attraction, I need to preserve balance. So if we are two people, for things to balance, sometimes it comes from you and sometimes it comes from me. The problem is that we usually don't relate like that. That is to say, we really like someone and we forget about our part. Truly, we abandon ourselves. We make everything about the other person. Or if we meet someone who is winning us over, our more egocentric side comes out, and we believe everything is about us. And both stances endanger the balance and the attraction. And I'm going to present this theory in a more practical way, so it's better understood. Because this is not only about that person. I have to understand that it's a mindset. And for that reason, the first person to apply this mindset should be me towards myself. That is to say, if yesterday was about you, for example, we had a good chat and stayed up late exchanging messages, and I made an effort to learn about this person's life, right? We were discussing more topics about I don't know, your likes, your hobbies, your work, whatever it may be. Yesterday was about you. I focused on you. I focused on the curiosity you awaken in me. I gave you attention because yesterday was about you. So for example, today has to be about me. I'm not saying it has to be one day yes, one day no. Okay? I don't want you to treat this like a calendar because anything rigid doesn't come across as spontaneous and therefore feels a bit off, right? Being transparent, being ourselves, in the end, the other person perceives it, right? But I mean, to make it clear, for example, I say, well, today is about me. What does it mean that today is about me? That today I don't wake up in the morning and instead of being at work fantasizing about the conversation we had, about what you told me, imagining what I can do to ingratiate myself even more with you. No, today is about me. I arrive at my work and I focus on what I am doing. And I think, what am I going to do today? Maybe I have some friends I haven't seen in a while. That is to say, I leave that bubble, I enter when I interact with you and enter my own bubble, my personal space prior to meeting you. My personal space where the people who were close to me and occupied my affection, my time, and my attention before you arrived, my obligations, my tasks, even those things that I liked or that I like and enjoy doing when I'm not with anyone. That is to say, just the same. Not today. Today I'm not going to stay up late talking with you again, much less about you. Maybe today what I feel like doing is picking up a book and reading quietly. Are you following me? I mean, yesterday everything was about you, but maybe today it's all about me, the me before I met you. And what happens when I understand that sometimes it's about you and sometimes it's about me? That I'm not always available, that I give some space for the person to think about me, to fantasize about me, that I show them that I am a person who has a life. In other words, I'm not looking for someone to save me, nor someone to make me happy, nor someone to fill my life, because I have a full life. And with having a full life, if we keep connecting the dots, what I'm conveying to you is that I would be capable of giving you up. Because people who quickly meet someone, make them the center of their life, change their schedule, revolve everything around them, are the type of people who, when the other person doesn't behave well, are not willing to let go. That's how it is. People who are willing to let go, who don't tolerate everything, who do have boundaries and respect themselves, I think are the type of people who know that this is about you and me, who know other things intelligently that I still don't know. Nor do I know you, nor do I know where this will lead us. So it's also in my interest to be a bit cautious and maintain a life that doesn't revolve around you. But I'm not going to focus on this. What I want you to understand is that mindset. But this isn't limited to when we see each other. This is the mindset towards you, understanding that no matter how much I like you, I understand that life sometimes has to be about me. I have to keep focused on my own matters. And there will be times when it doesn't. As I say, it's not about being strict. There will be days that are more about you. There will be days when we have a date and spend the whole day together, and all my attention will be yours. And maybe I won't answer the phone because I'm with you and I'm in bliss, right? But then I return to myself. That is to say, it's about you, about me. There will be days when I want to know everything about you. But there will be others when I'll see if you are attentive to me. If you remember what I've told you. If you ask me if you're interested. There will be days when I can have a gesture with you. That is to say, I might adapt to your schedule or travel, or have the gesture of inviting you. But obviously, this is not going to be like that. That is to say, my company is not just a set of conveniences, but I also expect that there will be days or weeks when you are the one who finds the time when it suits me, who makes the effort to travel, to invite me. Truly. That is to say, how am I going to maintain a balance? How do I expect to maintain a balance if many times I am so focused merely on pleasing you that I lose sight of the fact that it's about me? The balance goes out the window, but it's me who throws the balance out the window all by myself without any help from this person. I mean, on top of that, I do it because I want to please you more. As I said, I know you, and because I want to please you more, I am super focused on you. It's always about you. I take an interest in you. I adapt to you. I make it easy. And so on. I forget about myself. I forget about my life before I met you. I make you the center of my life. Everything is about you. I give, I give. Suddenly, one day, things change. And I don't understand what happened. It's not like, but why? If 2 weeks ago you loved being showered with attention, and now suddenly, overnight, you don't like it anymore. It's because you've broken the balance. It's that when I met you, you were one person and I was another, and now it seems like I'm dating myself. And you might say, Amanda, well, what a video. This is common sense. The truth is, I don't think so. I mean, yes, it's common sense, but in practice, it's not, because we don't see it that way. That's why I want you to adopt that mindset of sometimes it's about you and sometimes it's about me. Because in practice, what I find is, no, for the third week, I'll adapt. But Amanda, I'd rather adapt than not see the person. Because if we don't see each other, we'll drift apart. So I'd rather adapt. In practice, I encounter what's going on? I'm feeling terrible. Why? Because we had been talking for 4 nights and yesterday we didn't talk. And I already feel that things are going wrong. And I start to panic and change my attitude. And I no longer behave like myself, but like the version of me that's afraid this will go wrong and starts acting a bit strange. That is to say, in practice, what I really find is that when someone excites me, I see a lot of this is about you. And it's about me to the extent that I use myself as a tool to impress you, to make you like me, to show you the wonderful partner I could be. In practice, I find that everything is about how much I can close the distance, as if I were gaining ground, right? This person is uncharted territory, virgin land, and I want to stake my flag. So I truly feel that the sooner I establish a monotony, a continuity, right? The better. And I am terrified and fearful that there might be fluctuations, that this person might take some space, right? That is to say, not only is my interest very focused, but somehow I expect the other person to act the same way. I am very reluctant for the other person to do that back and forth. Whereas if I, on my own, without waiting to gauge the other person's interests, okay? I don't adapt again. To see if you're the type of person who wants to talk every day, who wants to meet all the time. I don't even put it on the table because I am simply not that type of person. I need a certain part of my own. I need a certain space. I'm not going to be there every day, much less whenever you want and however you want. Okay? The moment I don't gauge what I give based on what I receive, so that I don't reveal my true intentions, not to seem desperate, but I am clear about what I offer. And my offering is very clear, with the mentality I am telling you about. Sometimes it will depend on you if I don't intend to be one, because we are taught the opposite. That is to say, out there are a lot, especially for women. There is a very widespread doctrine here. There are a lot of young women who are given the message that you are the prize, you are a princess, but you are neither the prize nor a princess. I don't care how wonderful you are. Maybe you are very beautiful, very intelligent, very nice. I think that's great. It doesn't matter. We are all human. We are all children of our parents. We are all wonderful and unique creatures. So of course, if I go from being the kind of person who, when I meet someone, it's all about you, right? Well, the moment I make everything about me, yes, in terms of attraction, it will go better for me. Especially it will go better for me with a type of profile that is very persistent, but also the type of profile that is very capricious, the kind that follows until they get what they want. And when they are completely mine, I feel like hunting again. So be careful with that. But, well, obviously that doctrine of now everything has to be about me. No. Let's be a little, I don't know, emotionally mature. What are we looking for? What is a partner? A partner is not. I want a boyfriend who kneels and gives me a bouquet of flowers, a diamond ring, and takes me to his castle, which is 5 years old. A partner is I meet someone with whom we mutually contribute, respect each other, love each other, have a project together, and see each other as equals. So, neither am I going to make everything easy for you, nor am I going to give myself away, nor will I always be available, but obviously, it doesn't go the other way either. I'm not going to put myself on top of a mountain and expect you to climb it. So, interest brings us closer. When I care about someone, when I have a gesture towards someone, when I say something nice to someone, I give them affection, love, care. That brings me closer. That creates an emotional bond. That is to say, when I only do it from myself, the other person might end up idealizing me a lot, and it's the lack of accessibility to me that makes them fall in love with an illusion of who I am. But I'm talking to you about building something real, building something solid, something with a future. So, of course, interest, giving also, yields results and brings me closer to the other person. But I repeat, it's not black or white. Really? Trust me. Understand that even when you're giving, you feel very good. And even when you receive from the person and that union makes you feel great, practice, returning to your bubble, and keep this phrase in mind. Sometimes it will be about you. Sometimes it will be about me. Sometimes I want to see from your side. I hold back. And there are times when, even if everything is going great, I take my time. Because I don't forget that I am a person beyond you. Well, I hope the idea was clearly understood. I hope you liked the video and that it is useful to you. If so, and you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, of course, I invite you to do so. Hit the bell icon. Because I would love for us to see each other again very soon. Because here on the channel, it's about you and it's about you. And until then, as always, I send you a big kiss.